How's it going, fighters? Hope you're all staying safe out there. Welcome back to a brand new episode of True North Fighters. This is Wolfpack reporting for duty.
This is Shimaro.
And this is Sparrow.
And we have quite a lot of stuff that we gotta get to. Sorry, I can't speak. So let's dive right into it. First off, all of us here at K9 Calamity would like to extend our condolences to the family of Michael Begum, better known to the fighting game community as Broly Legs. He was 35 years old when he passed away last Tuesday, March 19th. For those who may not know about Broly Legs, the reason why he is such a significant individual in the fighting game community is because shortly after he was born, he was diagnosed with a condition called arthrogryposis, which is a rare and immobilizing joint condition that prevents him from fully using his arms and legs. However, he did still have full use of his head, his neck, and his face, and as a child, his parents got him an NES, and he actually began to work out a system for the controller that involved a combination of inputs utilizing his cheek, his wrists, and his mouth. And from there, he broke into the competitive scene by competing in Super Smash Bros. Before moving on to his true fighting game love, Street Fighter. For 4 years straight in Ultra Street Fighter 4, he was the top ranked Chun-Li player when it comes to online competition. And when EVO 2022 hosted a Street Fighter V tournament, he placed 20th in that tournament. From that point on, he ended up becoming a coach who would train other disabled gamers and even wrote an autobiography called My Life Beyond the Floor. So, on behalf of all of us, we would like to issue a moment of silence to remember this trailblazer of a man, Michael Broly Legs Begum. That wraps up our moment of silence. Thank you very much to everyone who participated in that. Again, thoughts and prayers go to Michael's family. And rest in peace, my friend. Rest in eternal peace.
Yeah, R.I.P., dude. You are a freaking legend to those of us with disabilities.
Absolutely. You'll not be forgotten, my friend. Anyways, we'll be moving on now to some more lighthearted topics. Something that has been of major conversations is, of course, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, and our good friend here, Shimaro, is going to help me break down the preview that was given to us by IGN as well as a handful of content creators. So, Shimaro, what are some of the things that our listeners out there can look forward to with City of the Wolves?
Well, from what I could tell from IGN's preview of City of the Wolves, and I gotta say, it was quite an in-depth preview. Great job to IGN for that.
Hell yeah.
The first thing I can say is that I will say that that it is a very pretty looking game. Although I will say, like, as someone who has a visual disability, it's a bit of a busy I got all the backgrounds and the bright colors are a bit busy, so I'm not quite sure how this game is going to look visually. Like, granted, I'm usually a big fan of cell shade graphics because then like everything's outlined really well.
There you go. Yeah.
But for some reason this game it's not as clearly defined as I might like it. So I'm hoping that along with the new with the new modern control scheme that they're doing, like with what SF6 did, we might also get like some visual options for some more clear outlines. That's what I would like to see out of this. But aside from the visual stuff, like we did get to hear some samples of the music from the IGN review, and it does sound pretty good. And then as far as we got with the actual gameplay, there is just a lot to this. Like,
there is,
like
man.
I mean, like we've got like Fatal Fury's version of like SF6's drive system, which is basically like the Rev system, which I do like. Like it really makes sure that people um, can't spam special moves all the time. Like I think this is going to be a really good game for those people who like to do like really in depth combos. But at the same time, I also like how like there are just as many defense as there are offense options, and the fact that there's like this special defense that allows you to like make a shield that can actually push your opponent back. I think that's something that like all fighting games need to start thinking about having because like how many times have we been stuck in a corner and we can't do shit even when we're blocking and like there's just not enough room to really maneuver and meanwhile our opponent's like just beating our asses.
That's very true. That has happened to both of us countless times, and you know what? I really do like. I think that's good. That's the major selling point for City of the Wolves, at least for right now, is the Rev system. It's incredible how you can utilize it. The Rev art is very similar to the overdrive mechanic in Street Fighter 6, where it pretty much enhances your special moves, and then the Rev Excel serving as a combo extender of sorts. Like you weren't kidding when you said that this game was gonna go heavy into like long ass combos. Man, by tying those two together, the Rev Arts and the Rev Excels, holy cow, just imagine how much damage you could deal with those.
Indeed, and then that's not even talking about like the super moves, like with the gears, like
Right?
the fact that you can like the fact that you can wager either like one gear early on to get a good super move off, or hang on to both your gears and use them all at once for a really even better super move. I think that's a good like risk and reward system for a fighting game with its supers because like it's like in most fighting games you see nowadays like in the past, it's always been like you get your meter up to full, like all your meters up to full, and then you just do whatever input you have to do, and then boom, you get. Meanwhile, with Fatal Fury here, like they have a system where you don't have to like use up everything. Like it can just basically be like a bar or two of meter, and it's basically just a matter of like your own strategy and like how much you want to put like how many eggs you want to put into that basket per se.
Exactly. So the way that I see it is that City of the Wolves lays out the foundation for the combos, and then from there, like the world's your oyster, man. You can open it up however you want. And I do also like the oh crap, what the heck am I talking about here? The guard shield that you mentioned earlier, that just
Yes.
sounds friggin' amazing. I love that they implemented that into there. And you know what? It's kind of surprising how there are so many well-known fighting game franchises out there and very few, if any, utilize a mechanic like this. Like this could be revolutionary for future titles down the road.
Mm-hmm. Plus, like we can't also forget like their other new addition, that SFG feature where you get to basically like have your health bar go down to a certain amount, like you choose when this activates, and basically it'll put you into a special mode once your health gets down to a certain point, and then you basically just get more powerful, and you can unlock the hidden gear, which is basically your best super.
Yeah, that was absolutely freaking amazing the way that they showcased that in the preview. Like, oh my god. And let's not forget that, this is Fatal Fury. This is a franchise that hasn't had a new game in Lord knows how long. And for those that enjoyed playing Fatal Fury way back in its heyday, and even those who have just started picking up Fatal Fury games and working through them one by one, like, dude, you want to hype somebody up for Fatal Fury? This is the way that you do it.
Yeah, they're definitely coming out swing, and I gotta say, like that SFG thing, like with your health bar, like that alone, that's going to really deepen the amount of strategy that goes into this game. Like I can definitely see this being a definitely accessible game just with the control scheme alone, to get new fans into the game. But as far as like what we're gonna see with tournaments going down the line, I think we're in just for some really interesting matches.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, hey, if you thought the King of Fighters was like a game full of strategy, just wait until City of the Wolves comes out. It is going to take that up a notch and probably several more. I am looking forward to seeing what else we'll get to see for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. We all know that it's going to be coming out within the next year or so. And it's just I'm super excited for this, and especially considering that thanks to the SNK World Championships that we covered a number of episodes back, I am now back in to King of Fighters. I've already loaded up KOF 14, and I'm starting to lap the shit out of that thing again. I'm gonna also start lapping KOF 15, probably sometime in the summer, and it's just man, oh man, I did not know what I was doing when I initially got into this franchise, but just that tournament, man, it's reignited that flame in me that I didn't even know I had.
I
So,
know, and we're definitely gonna have to play like KOF 13 on my Switch at some point too. Like that, I think the three most recent and KOF games we're just gonna have to go through and just have fun with all of those.
definitely for sure. So, uh, I don't know if we want to continue on with talking a little more about City of the Wolves. I think we pretty much covered the biggest points in regards to what IGN has provided for us with the first preview of
Yeah,
this
I think
game.
I think guys, if you want to get the full details, go to IGN, give them some support. They basically they do break it down better than we have,
Yeah,
but yeah, we've kind of touched on all the cornerstones with the review and all the major stuff you can look forward to in the upcoming game. They don't have all the details, but just because like they got like a demo, like essentially a demo version of the game, and they don't have all the characters, but they do have enough to like get a good handle on like most of the archetypes that you'll see in this game, and they do all look like really accessible and just really streamlined mechanics, and the fighters themselves just look really streamlined as well, like in terms of mechanics.
exactly. This is probably one of the most visually appealing games that I have ever seen when it comes to fighting games. It is just stunning and hits all the right notes. And remember, this is only the first preview. We've still got a long road to go before City of the Wolves releases worldwide. So we will be
Oh yeah,
bringing
like
you as many
like like
updates as
like you know if
possible
we
on
have if,
that.
like yeah, like if they have an open beta, we're definitely gonna jump on that.
Absolutely, man. Like I can't wait to get my hands on City of the Wolves. And don't worry, we will also let you guys know about the pre-order dates and stuff like that, release dates, pre-orders, stuff like that. Whenever it happens, if you haven't already gotten the information, we'll make sure to relay it to all of you. But yeah, those are pretty much our thoughts on Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves. And now I would like to transition from one flashy game to another flashy game. And this one brings up a really interesting issue that I actually have not even really seen in the fighting game community before. So, the article that I got the information from is from Fandom Wire. Huge thanks to them. This was published earlier this morning, actually, at the time of recording, in regards to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And this game, it looks like it's going to be putting quite a bit of a limitation on gamers, new and experienced, because I think people are going to have to start investing in new TVs to be able to play this game properly.
Oh shoot, really?
Yep, because apparently, from everything that we have seen up to this point, this game is definitely giving the feel that it can run more than 60 FPS. So,
Oh God, no! I like no. They. Oh, this sucks that they're doing that. I like because I need to play this. I need to play this. Like for those of you who haven't watched it, Bandai Namco had a play showcase recently where they pitted Goku against Vegeta, classic tank matchup.
Yeah.
And they showed off like a bunch of the new stuff. Where one, they upped the movement speed a lot, which I love. Like I haven't played any of the Tenkaichi games before, but just from gameplay, I saw it. Like I always thought that the movement in those previous games were a bit slow. So good on them for speeding that up. I mean, you got the fact that you've got more resources to handle. And that can play into like if you like deflect beams or if you like kind of do a turnaround punch when you're being beat on by your opponent, or when you do like quick flashes in out of your opponent's and close attack range. Like there's just so much, and this game looks so good. And yeah, now that I think about it, I guess it's no surprise that there's gonna be a lot of strain on people graphically as far as this game.
Yeah, exactly.
As awesome as it may be, I can understand why this might be a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I mean it's not confirmed that the game will be running at higher than 60 FPS, but it seems heavily implied given the showcase that we ended up seeing roughly about a week ago, because I mean, dude, you said it yourself, this game moves so freaking fast. And like it's just nuts. And I'm going to read a little blurb here from the article. Again, credit to Fandom Wire for this article that they published earlier this morning. Quote, per initial impressions, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero will be played at 60 FPS with support for even higher frame rates at the cost of graphical fidelity. That said, one would need a monitor with a higher refresh rate to be one step ahead of the enemy's reaction to all of the Dragon Rush maneuvers that the opponent pulls. However, the caveat also lies in a display's response time. The best monitors have a response time of 1 ms, while others can be much worse. So, ensure your monitor is as fast as Goku, or you might get hit with a Dragon Fist while distracted by ghosting issues, end quote.
Yeah, that is true, Wolf. Like, I mean, they did say in that showcase that they were going to try and make these, like, all these matches that you see in the game, like, as Dragon Ball accurate as possible. And I guess that does include, like, the absolute breakneck speeds that they usually go with in the show. And yeah, I guess they really are trying to recreate that here. I guess that is going to be a bit of a problem. Like, but I will point out that in the first part of that quote that you just read, they did say it will do 60 FPS, but it can also, in addition to that, support higher frame rates. So, like, I think it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. And like, I think Bandai is better known for listening to their fans a bit more. So, like, for all we know, they might think about what people are thinking about this higher frame rate, and they might do something about that. Maybe, like, I think if I were them, I would make like different speed modes for the game. Like, sure, if you can only go for 60 FPS, you have a lower res mode for that, and or sorry, a more high res mode for that, and you stick with that. But if you have a TV that can go higher, then you have a special mode where you can bump up the speed a bit.
Yeah, you know what? That actually sounds like a really good idea. And it's just, yeah, it's gonna be nuts to see how things are gonna go down. Again, yes, as you pointed out, and as I mentioned, it will be able to run at 60 FPS, but given how they're trying to emulate the fights in Dragon Ball as accurately as possible, yeah, chances are people are definitely gonna have to upgrade their TVs or their monitors to run higher refresh rates. But again, as it was mentioned as well in that little blurb that I read, it's going to come at the cost of graphical fidelity. So even though the game is going to run really well, it's going to be running at pretty much the cost of how well the character models look. So I definitely feel like that's going to divide the fan base for sure. And I have a feeling it's probably going to dissuade a good number of people from playing the game. But as you said,
Like, I mean, but like there have been plenty of situations where like if you look at like like an original like premiere Dragon Ball movie, and then you look at like the DVD version of that same movie, like Battle of Gods, when it came out back in 2015. The animation was actually a lot rougher than it was in the initial release compared to the more cleaned up version that you see in like the DVD format. So I'm not sure if like when you really think about it, like it's a bit of a stretch, but I would think that you're still kind of accurate if the character models look a little bit fuzzy if you're going at super speed.
yeah, this is very, very true. So, uh, we'll just have to wait and see. After all, the game is still in development, so that means we're still a decent ways away from a global launch for the game. So we'll just have to see what happens down the road.
Indeed, but for sure, Wolf. If you do need to upgrade your TV so we can run this game on your PS5, I will definitely chip in for a new TV so we can run this thing because
Yeah.
after seeing the Power versus Speed trailer they released alongside that showcase, I definitely need to play this because they have brought in like so many well like well asked for characters in this game. Like they're bringing back some Ginyu Force members, they're bringing back some old classic characters, and of course they're bringing in like some of the newer Dragon Ball Super characters that a lot of fans have been looking for that they got in like the unofficial fan made Tenkaichi 4. But yeah, now we're finally getting super characters in actual legit game, and we're even getting characters that not a lot of people will thought would ever have a place like from the Tournament of Power. Like Tournament of Power, like I haven't actually watched that far into the show yet. I'm still a little baby in the Dragon Ball watch cycle. I'm still on Z, people. I'm still stuck in the midst of the Frieza saga right now, so I'm still on that. But I have at least seen a bit of the Tournament of Power arc, and that had a crap ton of fighters to it. So the fact that we're getting like some of those more obscure fighters from that arc in this game is freaking amazing, and I cannot wait to see who else gets added because like we still have a bunch of the roster that is yet to be revealed. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
All I really hope though is that my girl Caulifla gets in because she's by far probably one of my favorite Dragon Ball characters aside from Beerus. I'm hoping that they both get in because they are just awesome characters. But yeah, so that's basically what we got to talk about for Sparking Zero. Again, Bandai Namco did release that gameplay showcase, which we definitely recommend you check out on their official channel. It is freaking awesome. Definitely very, very much hypes up the game, and I really hope that this FPS thing doesn't become as much of a problem as the article seems to make it. But time will tell.
Yep, exactly. So, with all that said, we'll transition now to some tournament news. This past weekend, we had the ARC World Tour Finals going down in Long Beach, California.
You got to go see that, or you got to stream that while we were off. Either Pharaoh was off doing exam stuff, and I was off being sick. So,
yep.
Tell us what happened in the ARC. In the ARC finals, what games did you see, and what awesome moments did we miss out on?
Well, there were two games that were being showcased during the World Tour Finals. Those were Under Night in Birth 2 and everyone's favorite Guilty Gear game, Guilty Gear Strive. So, for Under Night in Birth, it was the 8 top players for that game with a prize pool of $30,000. Not too bad at all right there. And ultimately, it came down to Koji Koko from the United States against Fukunagi of Japan in the grand finals. And
whoa. We actually got a North American in the grand finals?
Yes, we did.
Let's freaking go! We finally get the representation in the finals.
Yep. Koji Koko from the United States of America ended up in the grand finals but it was not meant to be because Fukunaga swept the competition. And as a matter of fact, it was another one of those instances where this was a rematch. These two met each other in the winners' finals, and then it was an All-American battle in the losers' finals that propelled Koji Koko into the grand finals for a rematch with Fukunaga. So
Dude, I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. Like honestly, like the fact that we at least got some North American fighters into the top 8, like they stayed there for a while, is freaking a win in my book. Because let's face it, like in the last like 3 or 4 tournaments that we've covered so far, it's been all like Asian dominated in like the top 8.
That's true
for the most part.
for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just happy that one of our southern neighbors finally like was able to make their way into the grand finals. Like that's a win in my book.
Yep. And actually, you'll be very surprised. There were 3 Americans that were competing in the top 8. They all placed 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively.
Go!
So, pretty good there. We got 2 podium finishes from North American gamers. We also had a German player, a French player, and a pair of Japanese players alongside Fukunaga, who took the whole tournament.
All right,
So,
like it feels like to me like Under Night might have like a more spread out player base than other fighting games. Like the bigger names, like the bigger AAA titles, they always have like, oh, you know, all like you have some European guys, then some Brazilian guys, and then a couple of North American guys, but it's mostly dominated by the Asian players. But I feel like with Under Night, we get like a more even spread of nationalities here.
definitely. And oh shoot, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I got excited. Correction, everybody. That was Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, not Under Night in Birth 2. My apologies. I did not see that up until just now, and somehow, I don't know how I missed it because I was watching the whole damn thing. But
That's fine.
I apologize.
That's fine. My statements still stand. It's even if it's not Under Night, it's still like a lesser known fighting game franchise, and I feel like it's awesome that we're getting a lot more representation across the board on anything, honestly.
Yes, for sure. So, again, that was for Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Fukunaga taking the title, finishing in 1st. Koji Koko in 2nd. Zerom in 3rd. Zippy in 4th. 2nd through 4th, all players from the United States. So, overall, it was this past Sunday was a good day for our gamers south of the border. With that,
okay, and yeah, I guess with that, I guess what was the actual determination of the Under Nights tournament then? Like, what were the actual numbers there?
Well, that was actually a side tournament that took place during that, but I'll still take a look at that right there. And actually, it was also a really good day for North America. This took place on the Thursday of that weekend, and it was Knots from the United States of America that took home the prize. The prize pool was $10,000, so Knots finished up top. Mario of the United States finished in 2nd, and then, oh, actually, this was a super good day because everyone in the top 8 was representing North America.
Let's go! And Canadians.
Unfortunately not, but there was a Mexican player involved, so that still qualifies.
Okay. Yeah,
It still qualifies. But yes, the top 8 for this side tournament, all hailing from North America. So again, a huge congrats is in order to all the players from south of the border, as well as to Jason Luna, who is representing Mexico. He finished in 4th in this tournament. And so from there, we will move on to Guilty Gear Strive. Lots of hype surrounding this tournament. There were 16 players competing in the grand finals for this. The prize pool was $100,000. And we had quite a mixed bag of nations here. Through the top 8, we saw Japan, the United States, we saw Israel in action, we saw Saudi Arabia, and we saw Senegal in action. On top of that, there was a Canadian player, Peppery Splash, who made it into the top 8. Unfortunately, though, he did finish at the very bottom of the top 8, but an incredible performance nonetheless by Peppery Splash.
Indeed. Okay, so that's actually a pretty good set of tournaments we got there, Wolf.
Yep.
So hats off to you for covering all those. We apologize that me and Farrah weren't able to join you for that for obvious reasons, but we will get to. But I will be jumping in for backslash next weekend. I'll be covering all 3 of those because Pharaoh's still deep in exam stuff, and Wolf, you're going off to WrestleMania in Philly that weekend.
Yes, that is correct. So if anyone forgot from last episode, yes, I will not be able to provide coverage of Slashback 2024. So that'll be left to our good friend Shamaro here. As we mentioned before, Pharaoh's got a whole bunch of exams he's got to take care of, so that comes first above all else. So best of luck to Pharaoh with those exams. And Shamaro, I'm just hoping I'm not pouring too much onto you there while I'm out in Philly for WrestleMania.
Dude, it's gonna be a marathon, but before we started this recording, we slimmed it out, we slimmed it down to the top 3 tournaments that I'm gonna cover. So I think 3, it's definitely my max that I can cover, but I think it's doable. So for those of you who are curious, I'm gonna be covering the Guilty Gear Strive. I know there's a lot of Guilty Gear tournaments that weekend, but
yep.
I feel like Strive is the one that people are going to be most concerned about. So Strive is going to be there. Of course, we got to do Grand Blue Fantasy Central Fiction. I don't know a lot about that game, but I will learn as I go there. And then as far as our third game, it was a bit of a tough decision, but we decided to go with Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. So look forward to my coverage of those 3 tournaments in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. And just a quick reminder for tournaments that will be coming up alongside Slashback. The Mortal Kombat Pro competition is having its North American East and West regional finals on May 5th. That is going to be an online tournament. From there, it is off to Schaumburg, Illinois for Combo Breaker 2024, going on from May 24th to the 26th. After that, Mortal Kombat is taking a trip north of the border because Final Combat is going to be live in Toronto, June 14th to 16th. So if there are any listeners who are in the GTA, be sure to get your tickets for Final Combat as soon as you possibly can. It is going to be a hell of a show. And then after that, the very next month, it is EVO North America in Las Vegas, Nevada, the gambling capital of the world. Sin City is hosting EVO North America. That is July 19th to the 21st. There are 8 premier games that will be showcased there. Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Under Night in Birth 2, King of Fighters 15, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, and Guilty Gear Strive. Holy cow, that's a mouthful. But
yeah,
yes,
we're definitely gonna be busy with that for those tournaments.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna move on because that's a lot of tournament talk.
Indeed.
So let's move on to unfortunately we couldn't figure out a indie spotlight or potential to pass for this week. So it's understandable. We were all kind of occupied with other stuff this week, unfortunately. So we're gonna skip that for this time, but we will have something for you guys next week. But we do have a discussion talk for you guys, and this time I'm wondering what you guys think about team fighters. So to clarify, it's a fighter where you go in not with one fighter over 3 rounds, but you have multiple fighters, and you basically just go until all of one guy's team is down to 0.
Yep, there we go. So I guess I'll probably lead off the discussion here. Team fighters, I have not played too many of them, but from my experiences with them, they are an absolute freaking blast. So pretty much the main titles that I've played that are team fighters, very well known games. Marvel vs. Capcom is a major one. It's been going strong since 1998. And also the Tekken Tag Tournament spin off games. Yes, there have only been two of them, but they are still a lot of fun in my opinion. So Marvel vs. Capcom, that one is just absolutely friggin' fantastic. For one, the selection of stages is incredible. Two, the rosters never fail to disappoint. Well, maybe with the exception of Marvel Infinite, but
Yeah, Infinite was unfortunate, but Wolf, I'm kind of more curious. I guess yes, Marvel's Capcom 3 and that whole series is really good, as most fighting fans know. But I'm wondering the actual mechanic of the teams. What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you feel about the team mechanic?
I do like if I remember correctly, I think there was a move called the called X Factor, I believe, from
Yes, I do remember that.
Marvel 3. That one I enjoyed that mechanic even though I didn't really know what the frick I was doing half the time. With that ability, it's like if I remember correctly, it's like a buff or something if I remember correctly. Where it's like it kind of increases the amount of damage your attacks do while also reducing I guess the cooldown frames or something like that. It's forgive me, it's been ages since I've played Marvel 3, so
Yep,
I do
totally.
apologize
But
for
yeah,
that.
that's definitely a good mechanic. But okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, there's that, and then
there's that.
the actual mechanic of like swapping characters in and out, like in general, how do you feel about that mechanic? Like, do you think that's a fighting game staple that should definitely stick around, and there's there's a lot more potential for that to grow, or do you think it's kind of weird?
No, I actually love that mechanic a lot, and I do personally think that it should be implemented for future games down the road because I mean there's so much that you can do with utilizing the ability to switch out teammates. I mean, for one, you can call them in to assist you in extending your combos, and not only that, but it's like yes, they can be called in as an assist, but assists are completely different compared to actually swapping out characters mid combo. That's what I
Yeah,
love. That's what I love the most about the team mechanic is being able to swap them out mid combo, extend your combos, and you can pretty much just keep it going. 1 second, you're on the ground. Next thing you know, you're up in the air. You're probably staying in the air for a decent amount of time before coming back down. And just, oh my gosh, it opens up so much. And when it comes to Marvel vs. Capcom, there is no feeling more satisfying than being able to pull off a lengthy combo by swapping out all three of your characters and then finishing off with a super. Like, dude.
I definitely agree with you there, Wolf.
Oh,
As a Dragon Ball Fighters fan, I can definitely relate to that. Like, I love being able to like swap out characters and get in good combos, and of course, I do love the one feature in Dragon Ball Fighters where basically you can have a character do a super move, but then you also have another character come in and do their super move at the same time, and then whatever character did their second, basically that's the one that you switch to, and I actually love that. It gives a good bit of strategy. Like, okay, so your opponent's getting hit by your one character, and they're kind of getting to the point where, okay, he's going to use this character. I'm sure after the super ends, he's going to do this. But no, then he brings in this all other character that you don't know how he's going to play, and then boom, you're straight back in the same situation you were. So yeah, I'm with you there. I love the fact that swapping out characters can just extend the amount of awesomeness in terms of like DPS that you can get for like it's it's definitely a feature that gives you a lot of bang for your buck, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And one other thing that I really love specifically about the team mechanic in Marvel vs. Capcom, specifically Marvel 3, is I still remember the moment I discovered that you could swap out characters mid-super. I, I can still envision it to this day. I remember the team that I used was, I believe it was Morrigan, Dante, and Chun-Li. I remember pulling off Morgan's super, and then somehow I pressed one of the tag buttons, and then it switched to Dante mid super, and I was like, "What the frick? This is actually a thing?" I was like, "Bro, I didn't know you could do that in the game." So
That childlike innocence and wonder that you get when you're like a new to a fighting game, and you just do something by accident, and you
right?
figure out, oh wow, this is a possibility. And
Yeah.
I really miss those moments.
Yeah, me too. And I guess one more that occurred to me in the same game was that you could actually pull off multiple supers simultaneously. Granted, you actually had enough meter. So, I believe it was like a crossover crush or something as they called it in Marvel 3,
Yeah, that sounds
where
familiar.
yeah, where you do the button inputs, and I guess if you have a level 2 meter, then two of your three characters will utilize their supers at the same time. But I still remember the first time that I did it. It was a different composition. I believe it was Crimson Viper, Zero, and I think it was Akuma that I was using. So Crimson Viper, Zero, and Akuma, and I managed to somehow trigger all of their level 1 supers simultaneously, utilizing the crossover crush. And again, I was just like, holy
Nice.
shit, I didn't like, is this a thing? Am I dreaming? Can somebody pinch me? So, like, in short, I love the team mechanic because it just opens up so many possibilities, whether it be to build on your offense, or just, catch your opponent off guard. So, team mechanic, I absolutely believe it should be a thing going forward. Um, and definitely, I would love to see it integrated into lesser known titles as well, because if you're going to bring in more fans and grow your player base, that's got to be one of the biggest selling points that you could ever come up with.
Yeah, I mean, like, who doesn't want to make a team of their top three favorite characters in a game? Like, that's just candy to gamers.
Exactly, man. So, yeah, plain and simple. Those are pretty much my thoughts on that. You shared a little bit of your thoughts on it too. Uh,
Yep, I'm kind of mirror matching it with this. Like most of the stuff that you said, I'm definitely agreeing with here. It's like it's just a really cool thing, and I think a really cool thing they could do is some fighting game is gonna pay me royalties for this in the future, I bet. But I would love to see a game where it's like a team setup, but when you switch in your next character, you can choose which direction they come in from.
oh, that would be nice. That would be really
So
nice.
say it's like, and depending on like what kind of characters you could do, like they could have like special intros. Like sure, you could have like the usual things where they come from the front, from the back, but you could also have some characters that can come in from the sky, from the sky, and something they can come like up through the ground. I
That
think that
would
would
be
be a
really
really cool
cool.
mechanic.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. And I mean, having like special intros as well and like special voice lines, that would be really cool. And that would actually kind of build upon a little bit of what was going on in Marvel 3, because every time you swapped out a character, the character you swapped out for actually says the name of the character that's swapping in, which I thought was absolutely amazing. So imagine, for example, it's I'll go with a simple Marvel team this time. Let's do the OG Avengers: Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. So let's say you're playing as Captain America and you want to switch out to Iron Man. Cap will actually call out Iron Man's name as Iron Man is swapping into the match. Like,
Nice. And I think I think that's what I think that's one aspect that a lot of like team fighters need to utilize more because it's small things like that that really make players think like, okay, I've built this team, and they actually function and they actually look like a team. They're not just
right?
like a couple of teammates that are slapped together and there you got a team. It's more like, okay, these are actual characters that like they know each other and they'll know that they're like whoever they're calling in next is going to be able to handle things.
Exactly, and that's another really cool little thing that I love about team mechanics. Oftentimes, something as small as this goes unnoticed, and people don't even like. They'll probably have to either play the match back a few times, or if they recorded a replay of it, just like watch back the replay and just like get everybody to shut up for a second while you listen for that. And it's like it really goes to show that sometimes it's the smaller things, the finer details that really bring out the positives about a video game.
Indeed, indeed. You read my mind there, Wolf. So
Yeah,
yeah,
crazy.
I guess we all have like the two of us have pretty positive things to say about the team mechanics. Is there anything you think that could be improved on that you think was maybe not done as well in the past, or do you think it's pretty good as is for now and it's only up from here?
Um, well, I mean, no fighting game is perfect. I mean,
Right,
you can get as close as possible to being perfect, but it'll never actually be perfect. So,
right. But if we're talking like blaring errors that need to be fixed, like do you think there are any of those, or do you think the team mechanic is pretty solid?
well, the example I was going to use was Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And yes, it utilizes tag assists where your characters will actually perform a tag attack before the character you were using before heads off screen. There's also like a leap in attack that can be utilized, but that's about it. In regards to utilizing the team mechanic in Tag Tournament 2, there's really not much else to it. It's just you swap out characters and you play as the other one while the character you were using before begins to slowly regenerate some of its health.
Hmm.
And I really do feel like with a franchise as diverse and as deep as Tekken,
Right,
um,
you want to see a bit more to the teams.
exactly. Like with Tag 2, it had a lot of things going for it. You had your ghost battles, you had your arcade ladder, you had multiple endings, had an incredible opening movie by the way for both the arcade and console versions. You had basically every character that has ever existed between Tekken 1 and Tekken 6. So endless possibilities for creating your own dream tag teams. But when it comes down to the actual gameplay, and making the most out of the team mechanic, that's where it really kind of falls flat because it just then ends up being like any other Tekken video game basically.
Hmm.
So,
Okay, all
yeah.
right. So basically, in your opinion, like like something that was that far into the life cycle of fighting games, you think there should have been more by that point, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And keep in mind this game came out in 2012 by the way. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, games had come really far since then. I believe Marvel 3 came out like maybe a year later, I think. I can't remember the exact year, but I know it came out somewhere in the early 2010s. So, yeah, like again, Tag 2, it's not perfect. There's a lot of things going for it, but as much as I love playing the game, I definitely do think that Harada and the rest of the team could have done more to make utilizing the team mechanic more effective, basically.
Hmm. Gotcha. All right. Well, I think we've given a good amount of our thoughts on tag team stuff. So I guess to end this off, we'll just go through a couple of our dream rosters.
Yep.
Um, Pharaoh didn't have one for this week, but Wolf, I believe you had an interesting one to share, and I have one too.
Yep, for sure. My dream roster would basically be one consisting of physical manifestations of different sports. So I'm talking everything from ones that you know very well, basketball, hockey, football, baseball, to lesser known ones, I guess, like cricket, polo. Actually, no, a lot of people know cricket, but
Golf.
I know polo is a thing. Horseback riding, curling, just a lot of different stuff. The way that I'm thinking of it is I could see it being a 2D platformer with, basically no rules whatsoever. Like, just make it seem as wacky as possible. Maybe like these physical manifestations of these sports are like bobbleheads or something, and they'll use like it'll just be straight up shenanigans basically. They'll use equipment based on their respective sport in
Right.
any way possible basically. Like maybe you have a baseball bat that also turns out to be a gun that shoots out baseballs, or maybe you can turn a tennis racket into like a boomerang or something, and your tennis ball is like a grenade.
Yeah, I
So
can see that working. I can also see this being a really like having a really interesting story where like you have the summer sports versus the winter sports.
yeah, that could definitely work too. And on top of that, you could probably add in like a third element of like where it's summer sports versus winter sports versus sports that people don't really talk about that much. Um, but I mean, like it varies obviously depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, I figured just something extremely goofy. And plus, on top of that, bobbleheads work perfectly because I mean, one of
Yeah,
the
perfect.
one of the funniest and coolest pieces of merchandising for sports is bobbleheads. So I feel like that would be extremely perfect to get someone into the mood for playing a sports video game. And you know what? I would probably make it free to play. Um and I wouldn't make it a pay to win thing either because we all know how much people hate that.
Right.
So,
So it would kind of be kind of like a sports variant of Brawlhalla essentially.
yeah,
Ki-
pretty much, yeah. While not necessarily being like an exact copy of Brawlhalla,
Right,
it
because
would
it's
have
being
its
like more
similarities.
because yeah because your idea is being a lot more wacky where Brawlhalla is a lot more fine tuned.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's pretty much my idea would be
Yeah.
a fighting game based off of sports.
Cool. Plus, I could also see like maybe utilizing sports cards somewhere in there as like a buff system or something.
That would be cool, yeah. Or I could see it being like collectibles. You know how some fighting games have like a gallery where you can like collect different kinds of things?
Oh
I
yes,
I, I could
us
kind of see it
Smash
being like that
Bros.
too.
Players know that well. Yes, yes, yes. I could totally see that being a thing.
Yeah, I could totally see that
Yeah.
happening. So, yeah, that's basically my idea right there.
Cool, cool. As for me, I had a idea for a really interesting crossover. If we're talking wacky stuff and just weird stuff, so I'm sure most of like a lot of our listeners out there who are fellow nerds, you guys probably know about the kind of the trifecta of more modern Disney cartoons that have either finished up or in the one case got prematurely canceled. But you have Gravity Falls, Amphibia, and The Owl House, three really well animated shows with really good stories. I mean, I haven't watched all of them all the way through. I'm actually right now trying to rewatch The Owl House to really get through all of that, and then I'll be off to Amphibia. Then a friend of mine's going to sit me down, unfortunately, to watch Gravity Falls afterwards. So,
Hunter and
yeah,
Willow for the
I'll be getting
win.
yes, I'll definitely be getting a face load of all three of those shows, but I definitely see potential in there for a really good crossover fighting game because like those like because like all three of those shows they actually have really like some of them are a little more subtle than others, but they all of them have some sort of reference to each other in each other.
Oh,
Like
no way.
in Amphibia, you had actual like frog variants of Grunkle Stan in the Amphibia world. In Gravity Falls, you had Stan talk a lot about like this one trickster woman who was like the one that got away from him, and that was kind of referencing Eda the Owl Lady from the Owl House. And
Ah,
then, of course, going full circle, um, you had other like subtle references to Bill Cipher in the Owl House here and there if you look really hard. So there's good crossover potential. I think there's a good story there that could happen. And then of course you got like a three full cast of really good characters. Like Amphibia got Anne Sprigg and all the rest of the Planter family for just like the main cast alone. You have like Dipper and Maple Pine and the rest of their family and their cookie friends from Gravity Falls, and then of course you have Luce and Eda and all their friends from the Owl House and the Boiling Isles, which and all three of those shows have like huge cast of characters beyond like even their main cast. So I can see this having like a really good healthy roster along with maybe like assist trophies and such. Like I can definitely see this like maybe being a 2D fighter, and then there could also be some potential for it maybe being a platform fighter. I'm not really sure which one would work best, but I could definitely see like this easily working, especially since all three shows are beautifully animated and they have all shown some really well animated fight scenes to some extent. So we do have an idea of how these characters would all duke it out.
that is absolutely incredible. I love that idea, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically my idea for Dream Master this week.
Love that. Well, it appears that we have pretty much come to the end of the episode here. Thank you all so very much for continuing to show support for your boys, and we will continue to pump out more content for you guys. If you have any suggestions, questions, or comments, whatever, feel free to drop a comment, and we will most certainly be taking the information into consideration. And I guess with that, that pretty much just leaves us just finishing up, doing the closing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess from yeah.
Oh yeah, from all of us out here at you know,
K9C.
I'm Pharaoh,
I'm Wolfpack.
I'm Shamaro. And I'm Shamaro.
and we really really appreciate all of you watching, and always remember our catchphrase, man. Fight on.
Yep. Fight on.
Fight on.
Love you all. Stay safe. We'll see you guys in the next one.